Hey there, it's Gann Journeyman here. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out this video. In today's video, what I want to cover is squaring a chart. Now, this is probably the most frequently asked question that I get, and my response to this question is, well, what does it mean to square a chart? And unfortunately, most of the time people either avoid answering that question or they bounce around and talk about something else. But my point to them is that if you don't understand what you're looking for or what that means, then how do you expect to find the answer to how to square a chart? So I just want to dive into this a little bit, and this will be very simplistic and basic in form. There are a litany of ways to square a chart. It's not just one way, and that's the only way. Because if you look at the chart, I mean, we can literally, you can pull this thing down, squish price. We can push it through the roof and make it look really long and elongated. We can compress it this way or expand it. So there's a lot of different options, and it really leads us to how do you make a proper square chart, which is the great question to ask. But what does squaring a chart mean? If we were to boil it down to its most simplistic form, what we're looking for is touch points. We're looking for the factors of time and price to be aligned, and then to get a reaction off that line whenever price and time come together. So let's quickly look at a few things here on this chart. First off, our tool to control this mechanism is called the aspect ratio tool. So if you come here to the axes and you look here at lock aspect ratio, currently we're working off of a 2. All right, so let's just come here and lock it in place to a solid 2. That way our measurements are exact. So now this chart is locked to 2. What does that mean? Well, our time unit here is 1 day, and it's locked in. That's not going to change here. So if we were to draw a square, we couldn't just do a regular, I'm trying to get there, I'm sorry, I'm trying to talk and think. Got a delay there. So if we were to do, 100 days, right? Well, if we were going at a factor of 1 to 1, right? If it was $1 per day, we would look at a 100 by 100. Where's 100? Where is 100? Bear with me. So roughly right there. Now, is that square? No, because our ratio is 2 to 1. So that means that for every day, it's $2 a price. So this is actually a half square. So if we went 100 bars by 200, what do we get? A perfect square. Look right there, angle 45 degrees. Come here, make sure I line this up properly. .45 degrees. That's why Gann said 45 is important. We bisected the square. So this actually stands not just for a degree, but it also stands for a measurement tool of time and price. So after, $100 has gone over 50 days, that's still a 2 to 1. And we're reaching time and price. So this chart right now would be squared to a 2 to 1 ratio. Now, this is not the only way to square a chart, like I said. This is just me explaining to you what you're looking for when you're asking me, how do you square a chart? You're looking for time and price to align on an angle. And there's a multitude of angles that you can work with. So let's just take a look now that we have that down. And we're going to go just to simply a 1. So it's 1 by 1. So now you'll notice as I try to move either which way, the scaling's locked. It's not going to change. So if I were to come here and just throw my angle up, let's find our 45. So there's my 45-degree angle. So this falls into the next part of, or the next section of the book, where I'm talking about square out points. And what are square out points? So you'll notice as I zoom in and out, the 45-degree angle stays. But square out points are whenever price touches and reacts. So this would be a square out point. This would be a square out point. And you'll notice this is resistance at this point until it breaks through. Then we have a touch of support until it breaks back through. And what do we have when this breaks? A change in trend. Then we come back up and we break back through, and now we find it as support again. So these are all the touch points. And this is really helpful for whenever you're creating your GAN boxes, because it helps you to make those alignments maybe a little bit easier. So let's just throw one up right quick. I'm not going to go fully into GAN boxes until another video and chapter. But as you can see, look how that aligns. Just going off the 45. And then you can bring it down. And this is where you find as many touch points as you can with the GAN box. Also, if you want to go smaller and use this first angle right here, that's going from the 0 to the 0.5, the halfway mark. You'll see how it nicely fits here, fits inside here, comes down. I'd like to see that touch right there, but we got a gap. That's a little lower than I'd like. So that's just a tool to help you find where things are square. When things are square, things align. And that's what you're looking for, is these alignments. So if I were to throw up a Fibonacci spiral, for instance, let's just say, from here, where are we going? Cuts through that. Well, look at that. You have alignment. It's following, price action is following the spiral. And this is a whole nother, wormhole you can go down with spirals. There's a lot of tools. You just got to learn how to use them all. I'm still learning. So I hope this kind of helps explain what you're looking for. Squaring a chart means you're looking to create a chart that is scaled to where time and price meet. And when they meet, you get a reaction. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope this has kind of enlightened you a little bit more on this subject, and it'll help you in your chart making. So until the next video, I'll see you later, and keep painting.